Hey, HO Racing fans, I'm Scott, and behind this door is Scott's House of HO Racing. Thank you for stopping by tonight. I do appreciate it. If you haven't already, please like, subscribe, and share below, or do the LSS. To those of you that have subscribed, I sincerely want to say thank you. I do appreciate it. And especially, I want to give a shout out to Dan at Slot Valley Racing for promoting my channel on his page, on his channel. In one night, my subscriptions over doubled. And so I thank you, Dan. I do appreciate it. And I also want to give another shout out to the gang that follows along on the ProTinkerToys.com live website. To all of you guys that have stopped by the channel and subscribed or at least viewed the videos, I do want to give a special shout out to you all and thank you personally. So without further ado, let's get started with tonight's episode. The first part is going to be let's look at a little tour of what Scott's got here in his room and what's got on the walls as far as my collection. And then the second part of the video will be a little review of some of the track mounting tips that I have, and maybe some of the things you might want to try on your track if you ever decide to permanently mount it, or if you have and you maybe want to try to upgrade it to try some of the tricks that I've done. And I encourage people to comment and interact with the channel below. This is a channel for all HO hobby slot car enthusiasts. So the reason for this channel was to help spread everybody's knowledge, and with everybody's knowledge chipped in, then we'll all be a lot wiser. So without further ado, let's check out what's behind the door. I'll start out with just a pan from the left to the right and circle it back around, and then I'll go back in a little closer to show some of the actual makes and models of the cars. So let's open the door here. Sorry about the lighting. I am doing this first person for the first time, so this time you will be able to see the actual writing of the that's on the cars, and without it being backwards like it's been in the previous videos, which I do apologize for. But without further ado, I'm more or less standing close to the center of the room, and there's the Shelby flag covering the window, and then I'll just start circling around. There's my Auto World case and some of the Auto World cars and some of the Tyco cars. And then as I round the corner for the closet, you'll see that I go into my Mega G, some of them, the Daytonas and the Porsche 962s and the Mercedes-Benz down there. And then up there, some of the Audis that they came out with. And then some more of the Mega Gs, and then the Mega G Pluses of the Audis. And then I start into the collector series of the Chevys and the Fords, and the Chevys are the Camaros on the top, and the Fords are obviously on the bottom. And if I did have one car that I'm most proud of, it would be this one right here, and that's because it's the Mr. Aurora Bob Beers, and that's his limited production Ford GT that you could only purchase through him, that he had 3,000 of those made, and they're sold out. So they are an instant collector. And I was fortunate enough to have 3 of those that he was nice enough to sign for me. So thank you, Bob. And as we go through there, you'll notice that there's a Ford GT missing, but if you'll look down in the case, it's down there. And I've got one coming for the wall. And then we get over to the Ford GT40 part of the collection. And then started out with the unpainted, and then if you'll notice, they'll start out with the oldest version and work their way up to the newest version with the same number. And the number 1 SRT just hasn't been put on the wall, but it's there. Then we go to the 2 2s, then the third 2, that's the blue one, and then the 3 reds, and then the copper 4, and another version of the copper number 5, and the dark blue number 6, and the silver and black 7, and the black and white Heritage Edition, which is what they modeled the new Ford GT after. And then there's some of the more Mega Gs. And then I will back away and start in the corner there. Here, I guess I better back up some more. In the top row, you'll notice all the Tyco cars and crews. I do have every version of those, including the F1 cars, and I'll just scan across the top first. There we go. And then what I tried to do above them was try to put the car that came as a single, if they made one, above it. And if they didn't, then I just added something that I thought was appropriate or close to what it was. So, and then when I come down to the cases, sorry about the glare on the case here. I'll try to move. I apologize. Here, I'll just get in a little bit. This is my original OG case. Starting on the left-hand side, all of those are cars that I had from my youth. And the very first car that I ever owned in my life is this one right here. And it used to look like that. But when you're younger and you have testers paint and decals, you try to make it look cool. So that just happens to be a test shop body of this. And this car used to have a wing. But irregardless, those are the old Tycos. I won't go into a lot of detail. And then some of the Tyco F1s, my Tyco Porsches there on the right-hand side, some of the random cars. There's the, here, try to get out of the glare, a lot of the Tyco NASCARs. And then there's 3 tractors, trailers that haven't made it into the case over there yet. And then here's what I started as the nostalgia of funny cars of the Auto World series. And then couldn't afford a lot of the older ones, or they were out of my price range. So I started just filling them in with some other cars. Now some of the newer I do have. Oh, and there's my Bel Air Heat from the Look What Scott's Got. If any of you are wondering, that's one of the 3 original Batmobiles from the original 4-gear series. Little history. And then there's a iChase version or iCar version of that Carfetti Mustang. And then here's my newer version of the funny cars and pro stocks and their different series. Now I was able to fill up this case with those cars. I still don't have, but believe it or not, there's even series that I don't have. Some of those are set only cars that are thrown in there just to fill it in, but those are just as rare, if not as rarer than some of the cars that are mass produced. And then I have the Top Fuel case. And then once again, I've got every car that came in the series except for 3, and I've got 1 of the 4 of those. So I've got about all of them. I'm close. And then there's some set cars thrown in there. And there's, you see the open spots for some of the ones that I'm missing. And then there's one of the silver screen releases that they had, Auto World that is. And then that's a Auto World set car for that. Those are original Aurora 4-gear ambulances, and those are going to be on the diorama and open up room for this case. And while we're in this corner, I'll just start. This is over here by the door, and I'll work my way up with the 2 packs. Those are the Camaros. There's a couple of the Vets, a couple more Vets, Vets and Thunderbird 57 Chevy, the truck, and that Sidewinder, and the blue, and the Sidewinder, and then above the door, and there's Gordon's Monte Carlo and Lumina. They'll come down the door. There's the Labonte brothers, Musgrave and Mark Martin, Davey Allison. I like that just because I was able to get one with the extra tires. Davey again with another version of his, and Earnhardt and his Lumina. And then one of the trucks and Michael Waltrip. And then as I round the corner coming in, you're going to see the ProTinkerToys.com collection. There's one of the earlier ones, the truck. There's the one I just did a review on, the Charger. Like I said, I'm trying to rotate the camera. And above them is it continues. I got 3 out of the 6 Hot Rods series, so obviously looking to collect those. And then it goes above the TV and the Xbox and goes over to that corner. And I'll move so we can get a closer view without the glare, hopefully as bad. What's in there? I like putting the 2 Batmobiles next to each other. That's pretty cool. I love those. They're the top left up here. That is the original first #1 Blurple Pro Tinker Toys. And then a vendor on eBay was selling the jewel cases since those didn't have one. And I went ahead and purchased the jewel case for it. And that was the one I mentioned in the Look What Scott's Got that I only was able to get one of. And then you can see the other series that are the ones that are in there. And then the 1, 2, 3 of the silver screen series for the Christine. And then some of the Eye Chase versions. And then there's a Vanishing Point. And I'll just kind of see, there's from the Hot Rods, and we'll scroll over. And then my Mustang. And speaking of which, there we go. He did a much better review of the car than I did, so I would highly suggest go by and checking out his video. So, Dan at Slot Valley Racing. There's a quick tour of the room. These are the racing rigs, and then the car feedies. I've got every version of the car feedie except for one, and that is the alternate CUDA. And so if you'll notice in there, if any of you are into the auto world car feedie, so you'll notice that I've got another chase vehicle to go up there with that. And then the quick eye will notice that there's a Ghostbusters in a place where it shouldn't be. And that's because I'm missing the number 3 car of that 4-car collection, which is the Catwoman car. So if any of you have a lead on one of those that's brand new in the box that would look good on the wall, let me know. And then I have the A and B version of those. And so like I said, I can get a little closer. And by the way, those are all brand new. I just took them out to set them in there. For the exception of those two. Those two aren't brand new. Those are circa mid-70s somewhere. And here's our corner. A little closer. Those look like 2 of the same Cobras there, but they're actually 2 different ones. Get you another close view of the Audis. And in this case is the Auroras, AFX Race Masters, however you want to do it. And this is the one that, God, that glare is horrible, and I apologize. Not much I can really do about that. Back away from it. Yeah. Well, what you can see beyond the glare are set cars that are still sealed in the bag on the left-hand side, kind of, sort of. And then just my collection of the AFX stuff. And then I worked it down from their NASCARs to just random cars to the F1 cars. I'm one away from having all the Mega G F1 type cars. And if any of you collect those, you know which one that is. And if you don't, I will tell you, it is the Red Bull. That is the most collectible car in that whole collection. And if you're looking to buy it, you better get ready to pay. And then I just come down there with some more of the Indy cars and more of the stuff. There's a couple of the cars that haven't gone on the wall yet. And these are the racer cars that are house cars that people can race on the track. And I've got the IROC series of Vipers. I'm getting some Vipers to clip onto these lifelike trucks. And then we're going to have, and there's another Earnhardt up there, a super truck series. And then we're going to have the stock NASCAR truck series. And we're having a super NASCAR series, a little modified NASCAR. And then at the end of the year, whoever does the best on the NASCAR part of it, then the top three are going to race some modified all-star cars. And those are all brand new, or at least rebuilt brand new with all the parts. And then I have a stock Indy class that is just going to have tires. And then the one right below it is hopped up. And then that's the newer versions of the hopped up that's going to be ran like 3.5 ohm motors and level 10 magnets and level 4 motor magnets. And then you'll notice the older cars there, and that is the green Viper's the backup in case one of those breaks. We can just keep racing. The older cars, the 57s, the Thunderbirds, the 40 wheelies and stuff like that, that's the American Graffitis class. And then if I come down, these are Scott's personal cars that he races around the track. I haven't put that one together yet. That's a Scale Electrics body with a Mega G Plus chassis. And these are some of my racers with some of their modifications. These are just racers that didn't fit up there. Here's my stock cars. There's my Ford GTs. Now, these are house cars, and all of these Mustangs, the red, white, blue, yellow, and then this white one and this blue one, those are all Viper Hardin Creek. They're Sportsman Series chassis, and those are just brand new Auto World cars that I took the bodies off. And then I don't know if you can tell, but those have the lowering clip on them. And then I recently, if you'll notice, I got two of the older Boss, but they don't have the right chassis. But I wanted the bodies because I wanted to be able to race and have a new Mustang and an old Mustang IROC. And by that, the cars are going to stay in their lanes, red, white, blue, yellow, and then everybody rotates what lane they're racing in. And then those are just, we have a Mega G class, and then, yeah, so those there. And I don't know if many of you have seen that, but that is, I got that from Portugal, believe it or not, brand new. Obviously out of the box. There's the US1 Tyco stuff. There's some one of those micro scale electrics. A couple of cars I'm getting ready to put on eBay. There's like 20 brand new Tyco 440X2 chassis and a couple of Jag hobbies down there. And then, oh, looky there, the giveaway, the 99 Problems giveaway. And I had a question on why was I calling it the 99 Problems giveaway? Well, if there's 100 subscriptions before I do the giveaway, then there's 99 people in front of you or that are your competition, basically. So, you have one in a 99 chance, 100 chance of winning. And so you got 99 problems. The other 99 problems are the other subscribers. So I thought it was just a little clever take on it, or lame. This is kind of my nostalgia corner. I've got a couple of the sealed road. I've got one version each of those pit case kits, and I bought one of those each car's new old stock out of the box. There's the Auto World pit kits. There's the DeLorean and the Vet, and then there's the new 3 that they recently came out with. That's an Aurora original grandstand that has just not got the cellophane on it, but it's brand new. On the inside, still sealed. Brand new old AFX track piece. Those Revmatic sounds are brand new, sealed in the box. And then I've got 2 of the cases, which ironically came from ProTinkerToys.com. And then there that lap timer, brand new in the box. And then I had a couple of the Dale Earnhardt, a good friend of mine works for Junior Motorsports, and so I got a couple of the big cars and a couple of little cars. There's a Chase. There's some of the SRTs. There's some more of the 2-packs. Then I do have every Tyco car and trailer that they made. And then I mixed, obviously, those in with some of the Auto World that I've gotten in there. I love the tractor trailers. Those are pretty cool. That one's pretty cool. It came with a stopwatch. And there's tech tip, collector's tip number 1. If you'll notice, all those are clear, and that one's some dingy yellow. Well, that wasn't done just to match the color of the tractor trailer and the car. That's what happens when the sun gets exposed to that plastic, and that's what happens over time. So that's why you see the flag over the window plus the blinds down. No sunlight in Scott's room. I don't want my collection turning that. And then last but not least, we're right back where we started. And then if you didn't notice, we got Master Chief hanging out on the wall. If anyone wants to raise hell about the whining and crying sign. And the second part of the video was to go over some of my track mounting tips. And I kind of got some of the stuff laid out here as far as what I used to help mount some of this. Here, I'll kind of pan around and show you guys I know the video is going long and I apologize, so I'll make this quick. I'm mounting everything directly to the table. What you see is silver there that looks like a foil is actually sound deadening stuff for cars. So I bought 2 cases, basically enough to do 2 cars, and covered every board that the track was going to touch. So anywhere the track touches, it's got this. And there's the roller and the knives, and X-Acto knives. Two-way tape comes in handy. Now, one thing I do whenever I'm assembling my track is I roll it over, use the Aurora clips to try to keep the track as straight as possible before attaching it down. Now, I see a lot of people that like to use nails. I'm using screws. And then these obviously weren't, that's the flat black, I painted them. I will put the part number for these screws. And then I basically countersink the holes. So as you can see there's the holes. You can see the countersink. And if you look around the rest of the track here, from that corner on the big table, all the way around has been attached. If you look really close, you can kind of see the screws, but they're hidden. And that's the whole point, is I was trying to hide them. One of the tips I will give you, like I said, since I know the video is running long, if you'll notice, I got some of my timing system back from Viasu. And once the wiring starts on that, then I will go over basically my jumper leads, where they're at, how they're all going to get tied in to the power system. I'm going to have 3 driving stations. So one view will be from this part of the track. Another view would be from right here, looking around. And then last but not least, the 3rd driver station would be over here in this corner, looking around, looking down. And you can see this piece of cardboard here. That was one of my tips that I wanted to give everybody, is after I had the track attached in a few spots around on the table, I stuck this underneath it, then attached it, and then I went around and cut it out. Now, this is my template for the wood, for the 1/4-inch wood, this like that. That's what I was putting there as an example, that I'm going to cut to fill in so the track and the infields will all be flush. So that's my tip. And I see people use all sorts of parchment paper and stuff like that, and then I also see them have troubles with wrinkles, and so that's why I strongly suggest this. Basically, working cardboard, poster board is what they call it at the Dollar General, and investing in that, taping it together securely, so that when you lay it all out, lay it down and cut it out, it's a lot easier to tape down on whatever you're going to use as your interior surface instead of this. Now, if you're asking yourself, well, why did you use this instead of a lot of the sound deadening that they currently have? And I don't want to deal with that foam stuff. I didn't want to have to deal with adjusting my heights. I've seen people put it on the bottom of the table, and that didn't seem to deaden much sound. So that's why I did it like I did it. And you hear that? And one thing I also did is, I don't know if it's going to come out, but underneath each section of the track that you can see is banked around here, I put some of that sound deadening on the bottom side. And what you see here is the driver station attachment point. There's one of the jumper sections right there. This is the other jumper section right here. I have exactly 69 pieces of track all the way around. And then here's the first Visu timing tower, and this is your start finish line. And then over there is about as close as I'm going to be able to get to half. If you see that piece of tape there, that says 30. Obviously, it'd be 34 and a half to get to there. Well, that puts me right in that corner, and I'm not, they only come on 15-inch straights, and I need to put the other power tap over there, so I have a good distance between there and there and there and the next power tap. So you want, if you're tech tip number 2, if you're wanting to do individual power and you have lanes of a 4-lane track, and the way I used to have mine wired was with wall warts, and every 12 to 14 sections, every time there's a joint, so these 3-inch pieces and these short ones kill you because those add up quick as far as joints go. If you're using the wall warts, the plug-in kind, you need to have one of those powered every 12 to 14 joints. Now, if you've got an external power source like what I'm using on mine, I've got mine from Viper, it'll go all the way up to 30 volts. And then I'm running my jumpers, I can go anywhere from 17 to 20. And so what I've done, the maximum is from the start finish line here, we come up the hill, around, down, boom, there's the first jumper that happens to be with the what I call B driver station, and that happens to be exactly 18 away. We come all the way around the back stretch, hit the corner, come around over here, remember there's the 30. Right there is where our timing is, and then that one's going to be right there. So we got 31, 32, 33, 34. So 18, 34, simple math says 16. Come around the corner, come around, underneath, right there, another 18, and we come back around, go underneath. This is what I call dead man's corner, by the way. Swing around here, come around, and we're back to A. And that happens to be 19. So I've got 4 power taps going around the track, and then 2 timing towers. So it'll be close to a half track, what I call split time, which will be nice and tight. If you'll notice that I also have a degree wheel here, and there's a purpose for that, is because all those banked corners that you've seen, they're not all banked the same degrees. And if you'll notice, that's almost looks like it's, almost straight up and down. And it's not. That is actually going to be banked somewhere around the 40-degree mark. And I can set that since I'm mounting it to the table. And so, depending on which corner, depends on what banking. So it's not going to be a matter of being able to hold it wide open, because some of your faster cars will, believe it or not, still fly off of a bank corner. So one unique thing about my system, and then we'll put a nice little bow on this episode, is that Paul at Visu and highly suggest, if you don't have a timing system for your track, to get one. It's so simple. It's plug and play. Everything's labeled where to go and where to put it. You don't have to be a wiring genius to be able to just plug in stuff. Long story short, every station on my track, so there's going to be a red, white, and blue controller station there. That's what these pieces of plastic are for, because I'm making the swing downs. The one that's right here, and then the one that's over there. All of them will have, all lanes will have call buttons. And if you're not familiar with what call buttons are, they will shut down the power to the track anytime they're pushed. Generally, on big races, there's one call button, and it's held by the master controller, the guy that runs the race. And, he's the one that, tells everybody, drivers get ready, and he's going to hit the button and everybody goes. Well, we obviously, with my track against the wall, we don't have marshals. We have to marshal ourselves. And we used to yell off, and then everybody was supposed to stop. Well, that's nice and dandy when everybody stops when they're supposed to, but if you don't, or you accidentally let off just a half a second or a second later, my track is not exactly what you'd call really long. It works out to be right around 65.5 feet per 2 lanes. So, overall 130 feet total. Anyway, long story short, before it was made a little bit bigger, now since I've added this permanent table setup, this is a new addition to the track, is a length and this run up here, and just a lot of things are different. If you look at the older videos, you'll be able to tell the difference in the old track with the old nasty looking red, white, and blue sheet on it, and this new one. But anyway, we used to be able to go around that track in around 3 seconds or less if we were running a Viper or a Wizard or something along those lines, BSRT. So if you could see, if someone waited a second to let off, then they could be a third of the way around the track. So to stop that, now if they come off the track, they have to hit a button. No matter what lane you're in, no matter where you're standing, you have to hit your button for everybody to stop. And what that's going to do with the Biasu timing system is kill the power to the whole track and cause a yellow flag. And you won't be able to restart until you restart on the computer. Now, what they call this is penalty racing, because I can allow however many times to push the button without any penalty, or I can set the system up, if you wreck more than, say, 3 times in a 25 lap heat race, then anything after that is going to penalize you time. And so no matter where you finished, it would add that time to it, and it could possibly cost you the race, even if you were way out front. And then with the time penalty, if you did able to come back and win the race, then obviously you'd end up losing. So it encourages the drivers to stay on. And that's the first time, and they're the ones that did all this wiring right here. They did all of this. I didn't do it. But this is the first time they've ever wired one of their systems to do this at every single station. They've had a button at every one station, 1, 2, 3, 4, red, white, blue, yellow, but never at 3 different locations. So I'm going to be the first one to try that out. They asked me to make a video of it when I do, and I'll be more than happy to, because hopefully some other people that have the same type of track setup like I do, at their house, and they're just friends, or there's not enough people to do track marshaling, this would be a great way to even it up for everybody, so to speak. Now, I got these little boxes here. Those didn't come from Biasu. These came from TrackMate. And as you can see, these are just multi-junction boxes. So power in, ground in, and then you can see all the distribution block of the powers and grounds, and 3 of them, one for each station. So the last thing I'm going to leave with is that came in the mail this week also. So it was a very, very good week at Scott's House of HO Racing. Got the Pro Tinker Toys exclusives. Super excited about that. Got the Viasu timing system. Really, really excited about that. That means that I can see light at the end of the tunnel on the track, I'm sorry. And then real quickly, these bad boys came in. And if you don't know already, if you're a collector, and even if you're not a fan of Fords, I strongly suggest you get one of these, if not two, if you can afford it, because these are collectors already. If you can get your hands on one, and the prices are getting marked up significantly already. And what was the other one? The Vet. Now, just to show you guys, got a box of them there. There's two more cars being released later this year. There's another Vet, and it's going to be like a sunburst orange. It's a really pretty car. And then there's going to be a yellow, another GT40. So we'll have to be on the lookout for that. Hopefully they don't have as long as delays as they had the last time trying to get all these cars. If you'll notice the box, 136 of 230. And the place I got all those from already sold out. So that's why I'm strongly suggesting, if you don't already have them and you like them, get them. And even if you're not a Ford fan and you are a collector, I still suggest at least getting one, because you will be very happy with the return on your investment 5 years down the road. So without further ado, I will encourage everybody once again to like, subscribe, share down below, please. Thank you. I appreciate it. All subscribers, once we get to 100 subscribers on the channel, will be entered their choice. Once they see the video of the giveaway starting, they comment below, I want the Mustang or I want the Camaro, and then I will set a date. I will do the random pick and then notify the winner of their choice, which car they wanted. And once again, thank you to Dan at Slot Valley Racing. Thank you to all the guys at ProTinkerToys.com that goes in on the live feed. I do appreciate it. And if you're new to the channel, thank you for stopping by. Sincerely, I appreciate that also. I hope you liked it enough and found at least some information informative, and had a good look at some of the cars that I have in my current collection. I know probably one of the questions is going to be, how many cars do you have? Good question. I'll count them, and I'll let you know in the next video. Till next time, everybody, light some sparks and melt some plastic. I'm Scott. Thank you for coming to Scott's House of HO Racing. Have a good night.